Hello, everybody, and welcome to a movie podcast on the Captain Underpants movie, which I'm not going to be showing you in this video because copyright would slam me so hard, So we're just talking, and if you want to synchronize with us, I'll give us a countdown when we're ready to start the movie. And who are my
It'll,
co-hosts for tonight?
Cheezball, that's me.
I'm Mr. Can't figure out my Netflix password.
AKA Desmo360.
I was gonna say that. Oh,
If you can't tell, it's actually not very late at night for me. Well, for us, Desmo, it's 11 p.m., but
that's still not too bad, to be honest. It's only an hour and 30, so it shouldn't be too much later for him.
Uh, man, Desmo, I don't know if you've seen any of our podcasts, but they are the most insane videos I've ever made.
Nice. No, I have not. I didn't know you had a podcast.
Well, we call them podcasts, but they're not really podcasts. They're
We play,
commentaries. I have no idea why I didn't call them commentaries.
the first one was recorded back in December. We played a VN really late at night. Called Sounds of Her Love. And now Gameactive officially made up his mind on VNs.
I don't like them very much because that was a terrible experience.
It, it really was. Rudolph
What's
the
a
Red-Nosed
VM?
Reindeer, man.
Visual novel.
Virtual.
No, they don't support your Oculus.
Damn.
The third one, I think, was Doki Doki Panic, or
Yeah,
whatever.
the third one was a couple of different games. There was Roller Coaster Tycoon 2, Town of Salem, and then I ended it with the Doki Doki Panic.
The second one was a mixture of 30 minutes of the VN and,
What did we
you
play
know,
after that? Oh, we played
Use Your
Use Your
Words.
Words and then not Cards
Cards
Against
Against
Humanity.
Not? Yeah, we did.
It was Pretend You're Ziggy.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And then for the fourth one, we played a bunch of crappy Mario fan games from way back in the day.
And I made a very bad joke.
Yes, you did.
Uh,
And then aside from that, there's been some Sims 3 streams and I think one other major thing. Oh yeah, and a driver stream.
yeah.
So that's just what I've been up to lately. And tonight, I have decided to finally put in a formal invitation to do a movie podcast.
To be
So
honest,
if you all are ready, I am going to press play in 10 seconds.
Alright.
Wait, before we begin, who's seen it and who hasn't?
I've seen it.
I've seen it.
I have not.
Okay.
You
Going
were under
in,
the
I
impression
had a
that it was a bad movie.
Yeah, I had a pessimistic view. I read the books as a kid, so I didn't see it becoming anything good as a movie.
Trust
We'll
me,
see.
if you think it's anything like the Emoji Movie, just let's just start in 5, 4, 3.
I won't even watch the Emoji
2,
Movie.
1.
Alright, I hit play. Oh, please don't lag.
What, are we going to revert to classic brain scratch levels of video synchronization?
No, it's
Go.
fine. Just let me know when you get to the first scene. Or whatever. By the way, I have snack foods here and a root beer.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we all have food and drink, so if we start
Yeah,
munching
got it.
down in the middle of
Yeah.
a movie...
I'll probably mute my mic or something in the middle of it. I don't know.
Yeah,
I feel self-conscious about... I mean, the grapes probably won't be so bad.
Yeah, because grapes are squishy, but... we don't have a lot of soft snacks at my house, so I got these cashew clusters, which are only slightly less noisy than trail mix.
I don't remember that at the DreamWorks logo.
Yeah.
I love how Kevin Hart is in this.
Who's he play?
The black kid.
George. George
Yeah.
is the one on the left with the flat top and the tie.
Yeah.
and then Harold is on the right with the t-shirt and bad haircut. They don't make that joke in the movie, but they make it in every single episode of the Netflix series. Wait, did
Don't
that
mind
did
me,
that rocket have buttocks on it?
Yes.
I didn't notice that before.
I'm trying to absorb this lore.
The Superman. Dolphins.
Yeah, those are a reoccurring thing in the movie.
Oof.
So if you can't tell, a lot of the humor from this movie comes from its animation style. Like this doesn't stay throughout the entire movie. This is just a reference to the comic books.
Yeah.
Right. I got that.
But yeah, it may be infantile according to some, but it's probably like the definitive movie if you want to point towards what animation can do as far as a comedy movie. So I love how they finally made the origin issue after they've been apparently making these comic books for the longest time.
Yeah.
And I know he's supposed to be the antagonist, but Mr. Krupp is my favorite character.
Yeah.
He's just over the top in all the right ways. So that would be the third animation style seen so far.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Jesus.
Wait, so what are these meta powers they have to freeze time?
Oh
Is that
yeah.
It's an animated movie.
Yeah.
Look, I'm going to spoil something that's coming up soon, but they use a piece of plastic to turn him into Captain Underpants. A piece of plastic out of a cereal box.
Yeah.
This movie doesn't exactly favor realism.
Yeah, I'm starting to see that.
And also, George is the most meta kid ever. Like, he breaks the fourth wall
Which
all
one
the
is
time.
George?
The one on the right with the flat top and the tie.
Aw. You destroyed the music and art budget just to get that door.
Yeah, he's a sadistic madman, and that's part of the comedy with him.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which, I should probably shave. It's been a little bit since I've watched this movie. It's still chuckle worthy.
I think I watched it last year.
Like, I think I saw it come out on Netflix, and then I think it was a couple months after that I finally decided to watch it. And like, I regret not seeing it sooner because it was amazing. It just made the rest of my day after I watched it. So
Jeez. Oh, and you know the cafeteria lady?
yeah,
Mabel from Gravity Falls.
I never saw that connection. Probably because I've never seen that.
No, the voice actor.
Oh. Again, I wouldn't know that because I've not seen Gravity Falls.
Yeah, we both need to watch that game.
It's really good. It's the mystery element and all that stuff. Anyway.
Is it available on Netflix? I never bothered to check, but it's probably not.
I don't think so.
I mean, I had Steven
It's not on
Universe.
Hulu either.
I had Steven Universe to keep me busy, so it's not like I was often off in Teen Titans Go Land, but
Oof.
speaking of which, that's getting a movie that's releasing. I think it already released like a week ago, but we're
Yeah,
not talking about that.
It was a July.
You saw it?
No.
No.
If it's anything like the TV show, it's not worth seeing in theaters.
Oh no, I get that. I just thought you said you saw it.
It may actually be a TV movie, so it may not have even been in theaters, but Steven Universe is getting a TV movie. That's cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I wish we knew more about it.
Yeah.
The TV or the teaser trailer rubbed me the wrong way. Like that laugh sounds. I don't like the laugh.
Okay, so Melvin eludes me. I do not remember a character like Melvin from the from the original books.
I don't
But
either.
he's a major component in the movie and the TV and the Netflix series, so I'm confused why I don't remember him. He may have just been a background character that they brought into the limelight for the sake of having a kid villain, but
That should be illegal.
yeah, 13 hours?
No, I mean having kids come in on a Saturday mandatorily.
Yeah, I don't think that's ethically advisable either. Although that does lead to one of my favorite scenes in the movie, so...
Now, one thing I will say is I did have Saturday school one time, but I got out of it because my parents said that I wasn't able to do it.
How
So I got
did you
to
get
stay
it in the
home.
first place?
I was never good at academics or remembering stuff, and I couldn't figure out how to do an assignment. So in the long run, I had to come in Saturday and do it.
They
So
wouldn't let
yeah,
you do it at home?
basically it was a punishment for not getting it done in the first place. And
Can we use the setting of this movie to talk shit about American education?
I mean, I'm game.
Oh, man, I have a storied history with my school days, and I don't need to dig them all back up, but...
wait, I don't get it. Why would you say it like that in front of a bunch of kindergartners?
Because it's kind of impossible to not? I don't know. Maybe it's just because she was so monotone about it that she didn't realize that she was saying that. I mean, can you pronounce Uranus without it sounding like Uranus?
Uranus?
Okay, point proven.
That sounds like
the-
urine, though.
I know. Oh, you know what the
it's-
worst part is? It smells like rotten eggs.
Well, it is a
Literally.
gas giant.
But that's the smell that got associated with it.
Why is that? Is it just because a lot of rotten things just happen to smell like rotten eggs?
No, like it's legit. The smell.
How did they figure that out, though? Did they send a freaking vacuum cleaner out to Uranus just to vacuum up the fumes and then see
No,
what
they
they
sent-
smelled like?
They sent a probe to detect the chemicals in the air.
Oh, well, that makes a lot more sense. Why didn't I think of that?
And they were able to get the combination of chemicals defined as rotten egg.
Intriguing.
Root beer is the best.
I like root beer, but I kind of prefer Mountain Dew because it mixes really well with V8 Splash. I wish I had that, but we didn't have either of those in the fridge, so instead I just got some raspberry lemonade and mixed it with Sprite. Leaves a funny aftertaste, though, so I don't know how much I like that. Harold, you're disgusting. Okay, I don't know about you, but I never really liked going outside in my underwear.
I didn't know people did that.
I don't know. It's probably a thing that happens in places that aren't where I live. I hardly ever see my neighbors, come to think of it. It's probably because I'm not outside very often to begin with, but
I love how as soon as
probably
they've
about
remembered,
once every 2 weeks I'll see a neighbor.
I can't believe the parents are in on this. They're like, "Hey, they got to go in Saturday."
I've got a pretty radical view on schooling.
Well, let's hear it.
Like, I'm on the side that says, like, schooling shouldn't be mandatory, even, like, for high schoolers and such. It's like, if you don't want to be there, just don't go. You'll suffer the consequences, and you'll be happy. I don't know.
Yep.
Like, I believe there should be alternative options.
That works too, yeah.
And if school was actually useful at teaching life skills, then I
Yeah.
would say that that's not wise, but school doesn't teach you life skills. That mostly falls on the parents, so...
See, the relationship I have is I really enjoyed school, but you can tell who doesn't want to be there, and a lot of them made it worse for the rest of us. I don't know.
Okay, could you guys talk again?
So,
Yeah.
Okay,
Sorry.
good. I'm sorry, I had a little bit of a worry there that you weren't being recorded on the right thing, but you are, so that's fine.
Oof.
sorry, I was just in the process of like a belch was coming and I didn't want to do it, so I was trying to hold it back.
Well, okay, well, we're not 15 minutes into this movie with no sides of the conversation recorded, so that's good. 2 thumbs up.
Isn't this one of the antagonists?
Yeah,
The
Melvin-
turbo toilet?
Well, he turns into one of the antagonists, but right now he's kind of sedated. Like, he was invented by Melvin to be a bathroom assistant, but they screw it up, so... I wonder if this has enough musical numbers to classify as a musical.
So are you recording visuals?
I'm recording our 3 icons on Discord.
That's it? You're not
Yeah.
There's no visuals, we're just
Well, for people who want to watch this commentary, I probably should have said this at the beginning, but I did mention it, actually. Synchronize at the countdown for the watching the movie. It's complicated, I know, but copyright would hammer me back to the Stone Age if I recorded the visuals for this movie, so I can't do that.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Does this mean we're doing a legit podcast?
Basically, yeah.
And I got called out for calling it a podcast back when I mentioned it. And then I said, well, it's probably more like a commentary, but...
So if it is a commentary or a podcast or whatever, are you gonna like cut bits out, cut it all together into a nice package?
I may mute certain parts if we go into certain areas that I'm sure Chaz is familiar with, but in order to
What?
keep it synchronized with the movie, I'm not going to be cutting past the point where we started.
Okay.
I mean, I'm no stranger to recording 2-hour-long videos, so...
Neither am I.
Ah!
Was that loud?
No, that's fine. I just accidentally switched to another thing without realizing I was recording that. I should probably just stop screwing around. Just ignore everything that happens on the other monitor so that I don't accidentally pause the movie. Otherwise, I'm going to be like Mr. Krupp here, and that's not good. Segway. Also, if you care to notice, yeah, the animation is not the same between this footage and when they showed you doing it earlier. And I don't know if that was just an error or if that's, or if, I don't know.
All right.
Why is it that teachers' pets are always so smug about being teachers' pets?
Until they get knocked down a few notches by everyone else.
I guess that's just part of their act, but well, not really smug, more like snobby. So I don't know.
Oh, your parents are obviously failures? Jesus.
Well, their parents sent them to that Saturday event, so they're not complete failures. Like they're not completely incompetent. They made them go to the Saturday event.
Oh, you could take that argument the other way.
Hmm. I don't know. If there's plot holes in my theory, just feel free to deflate them because this movie has a lot of a lot of little fallacies that could be avoided if the characters weren't, kids. But that's part of the charm of it. Actually, is just that
Yeah.
it's simple and it's focused more on delivering humor,
Yeah.
like this upcoming scene. Is that my cat yelling for me to let her in? No, I'm not letting that cat in. She's just going to make a bunch of noise. Okay, animation style number 637, sock puppets.
Didn't see this one coming.
This is another of my favorite scenes. I should probably just add a little thing in the video every time one of my favorite scenes is going on.
I'm surprised at the amount of effort the artists are putting in. Like, when I saw this movie, I thought it would just be a cheap money grab. Like the Emoji Movie, again.
Well, DreamWorks has a little more tact than Sony, I'd like to think.
Yeah.
I think these robots were also from one of the books. So, like, even though it's kind of recapping the plot from the first couple of books, there are elements from other books that make their way in.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I vaguely remember the movie because it's been like a year since I watched it.
I've watched it probably about 3 times. I think my most recent viewing was right after I mentioned the idea of doing a podcast on it. It was right after I finished watching the Netflix series. Which also isn't a bad watch. It's a little bit below the movie, but it's got its own style to going on. Like, I particularly remember the episode where everything turned into clay. That might have spoiled the joke, I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, they always do different... I'm spoiling this much about the show. Every episode does a different variation on Flipporama. So it's not... I guess it wouldn't be that much of a spoiler. I don't know, that may actually make it worse, but... Forget I said anything.
Kids. Oh, adults like each other. Gross.
Gotta love that stereotype. Although George and Harold aren't disgusted by girls, like at least according to the TV series, they perfectly. I keep calling it a TV series, but it's a Netflix original. They have girl space friends in the Netflix series, so it's not like they're disgusted by girls. They just, when adults do it, it's creepy. I
Do
don't know,
what?
when adults are dating, it's creepy to them. I don't know. Try not to draw parallels to things. Also, this starts one of the best gags in the movie.
Yeah. Good
Like,
lord.
I like how it's set up, and then later on, it's just brought up kind of at random, so you tend to forget about it by the next time they bring it up. Oh, and there's the robot again. The fact that he describes a whoopee cushion as singing is disturbing to me.
Yeah.
There we go. Plot device number infinity, because that's what kicks the plot off. Also, another thing in the TV series that becomes relevant later on in the series is the Principal Krupp has a counter that he ticks up every single time George and Harold are in his office. I kind of wish it was in the movie, but it's not because that wasn't relevant or they didn't think of it or whatever. I'm curious if the same people worked on the Netflix series. I know the animation is different, and I think a couple of the voice actors are different, but other than that, the writing on the series is not like contrast. It's not contrary to the movie. It fits perfectly well. Are we watching Captain Underpants or Kung Fu Panda?
I love how it said China.
I love this depiction of a factory.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. As you notice, George mentioned that he got it out of a cereal box. It's that kind of self-awareness that makes me love the comedy in this movie.
What the heck?
I'm curious if something like this happened in the book. I
It
don't
did.
recall. Did it?
Just like this, they levitated and everything. To this day, I still don't understand.
Well, it's the Hypno Ring, so it's bound to have unlimited cosmic
Oh,
power.
I just
So,
figured out what's happening. He's hypnotized, and now he thinks he's Captain Underpants.
not quite yet. But yeah, that's the that's the summary of this entire series. Their mean, unfun principal is that whenever they snap their fingers, he turns into Captain Underpants. But this first time, they just make him act like various farm animals. Monkeys aren't farm animals though, so I don't know what I'm talking about.
I love how his hair goes up.
Yeah, his. If you want an example of amazing attention to detail in animation, just look at his toupee. That's all you need to look at.
I love how in the first place that their principal actually looks like the Captain Underpants guy, you know?
Well, okay, I'm pretty sure this was a case in the books as well. They often made their villains after people in real life, so I wouldn't be surprised if they made Captain Underpants look like Principal Krupp just to piss him off.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's just that artistic license is real because, they're kids drawing comic books, so the art style isn't going to be consistent anyway. Like, if you think Steven Universe has it bad, then just read Treehouse Comics. Oh yeah,
Jesus, right out the freaking window.
oh yeah, and he doesn't get superpowers
Oof.
in this movie. I mean, they do sequel bait a little bit, but they're also paying homage to the book while doing it, so it's not. I'm not sure if it's sequel bait or not. I kind of hope it gets a second movie.
Oh no, a mime.
Oh boy. Mr. Incredible was more competent at rescuing a cat from a tree, and he freaking uprooted it. This is
Yeah.
just that's just one demonstration on how incompetent he is.
He's incompetent as a principal.
Well, no, he's actually surprisingly effective. It's just he's so strict that it just
Sorry, I had a pretzel in my mouth. That's why it didn't sound right. Oh, goodness.
So at one point in the movie is he's labeled a sex offender.
Jeez.
uh mm, he doesn't mm, I don't know, probably the part where he starts hitting on the cafeteria lady.
I'm just saying all this public nudity might get him there.
Yeah. I mean, according to actual United States law, is that considered nudity?
A woman can be without a shirt now in certain places.
Yeah, in certain
Huh.
places though. I don't study law for a living, so I don't really know about those things. Though I do know, I have a shocking number of things that I would,
I think it doesn't count if they have a article of clothing on the nether regions.
which he does. So,
Yes.
I
He'd
mean, they
get in
basically
trouble.
Weird related story.
they treat him as
I
if
was
he's
on my
naked.
way. I was on my way to the gym yesterday, and as I was driving there, uh, the guy next to me was on a motorcycle, and he was revving his engine at the stoplight. And then this kid comes out of the bushes, like flashes his butt, spanks it a bunch of times, and then runs back into the bushes.
Wow. Kids can
It was
parallel park
so
better than
weird.
I can.
Yeah, speaking of which, I'm still on my permit process. I need to go practice more because I am been slacking on that, even though I have no reason to.
Oh no, Professor.
Also, another point of highly detailed expression. His eyeglasses are his eyes, and that becomes really obvious, and it makes for some good visuals. They have a toilet seat hang- They have a toilet seat hanging on their wall. I just noticed that.
I didn't either.
It's behind George's head, but that's cool. I actually have a little sight gag there. Again, the animation in this movie is really good. Like I've watched, this is the fourth or fifth time I've watched it, and I'm still noticing things. Shut up, cat.
Dear God.
I think this was one of the scenes that they used to advertise. Which
Yes.
I wouldn't blame you for thinking this movie was nothing but obnoxious if this was a scene that you saw. Like, why are advertisers so bad at picking out things that actually represent the subject at hand? And yeah, those aren't birds, those are mini Captain Underpantses.
I saw him.
And also, I just complimented the animators a bunch, but there is a visual inconsistency. The address on his house does not match the address on his driver's license.
Oh.
That bothered me so much after I noticed it. Like, I think
Well, I mean, some people move addresses and don't change their address. I've done it.
I think it's the same street though, so and just when you get a look at the inside of the house, you get the impression that he's been there forever, so yeah, this is, and if you want to see like this is a soft end of the movie where it's just very subtle about about what it does, or not necessarily subtle but quiet. Like, it's a little bit of downtime in between all the chaos. And it does actually feed into the romance subplot, if you couldn't tell, but...
You sure this isn't a decoy house? This doesn't look that lived in.
Well,
His
that's the point. He's the only one living there, and he's so unfun that there's nothing of liveliness.
Never mind, he lives there. Just to look at
Oh.
that bed.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you flip the mattress every month.
Yeah. My problem with flipping mattresses is that my mattress is up on a loft bed, and mattresses are freaking heavy, so
Yeah.
I can't even get the sheets to stay on for a night. Good luck flipping the damn thing. Although I will admit it's way better than my previous mattress. It was like,
oh, this song.
oh, how many years late? Like this is one of the older meme songs, like from I want to say 2000.
It was
Eight?
It was used in Deus. Can't remember the name of the movie.
Deus Ex Machina? Really? I haven't seen it.
It's just I remember seeing this in like SMG4 videos from
Yeah.
like at the latest 2012. So
Oh, it's from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. That's a movie that used it.
oh, isn't that a 90s movie? It looked
Might
like a
be.
90s movie according to the poster, but it's just I remember that song being used a lot, particularly in Super Mario Glitchy 4 bloopers. So oh, my cat is yelling for me. Should I let her in just so she'll shut up?
I don't really hear her, so
Well, the door
I
is
mean, there's a
shut.
chance you'll open the door and then she'll come in for a second and run out. Cats don't like closed doors.
Well, if I know that cat, she'll be perfectly content sitting on my lap for about 30 minutes. So I don't know. She just likes it in my room, and if she's not asleep, she's yelling at me. So I can't really win with that cat. That's one of my favorite lines. I don't know why, but it's just it makes perfect sense that Captain Underpants would not like wearing clothes to assume a secret identity. Also, his tie is not done. That's a nice detail. Oh yeah, Desmo, this is the part where he becomes a sex offender.
Oh boy.
Just look at that. Just look at that face. Oh yeah, at the end of the
Huh.
movie, she learns his superhero identity, and she just absolutely
she's still on
crushes.
hold.
Yeah, she's still on hold.
Nice.
She's been on hold for a day, so
What kind of glass is that that held its shape like that?
It's a cartoon.
a wizard made them. Like if you want to question things, like how did that How did that bear trap act like a chain chomp?
How did all that fit in a briefcase?
Okay, that cat is getting really desperate because she's getting loud. I'm restricted by cables. Why
I
did
see
I
what
put
you
that
mean
under
by
my
the
keyboard?
glasses.
Well, don't you see them moving around as if they were part of as if they were his actual eyes?
Yeah, they're like the Spider-Man eyes in the newest Spider-Man movie.
Yes, hi, Dove Cat. I am recording a movie commentary. Why did you come to bother me? That's not rhetorical. Answer to me. Poopy Pants is also really good. Oh, did I spoil that? He's Professor Poopy Pants. I mean, it's obvious to anyone who's read the books. Wasn't that the third book that he debuted in? You see, that's what I like about this movie. It's not trying to follow the first book to a T. It's actually mixing up elements, and it works really well because it gives it more meat for an hour and 30 minutes. Apparently the cat just wanted to be in my room. She's quiet now. I need fluid. Yeah, he's so incompetent that he can turn himself back into Principal Crap.
That's great.
And also at the end of the movie, it's revealed that he can turn himself into Captain Underpants. So, like, if only by accident, he can still do it. Yeah, he's a total buzzkill, but he has good reason.
Get rid of what?
Laughter.
Laughter.
So, if you haven't caught on by now, this movie does not strive for realism. It uses a bunch of made-up parts of the human child's brain, so... Shrug. Like, you're not supposed to pay attention to that kind of stuff in comedy movies, which is kind of why... I feel like if you try to do a review of a comedy movie and judge it from an objective sense, like, there's going to be parts where it falls apart because things like the story are not as important to the overall experience. So, I mean, I don't know of any reviewers who do that, but I'm sure they're out there, so... But then again, it can also if it's like a series and there's one standout example where they focus too much on comedy or focus too much on comedy and avoid providing story details, you could end up with situations where hostile space invaders end up playing a sports game against you instead of seeking out who they were desiring to seek out. Of course you wouldn't get it, Melvin. You have no good taste in television.
He wants to get rid of laughter because of his name.
Yeah. If you couldn't tell by the fact that I was calling him Professor Poopy Pants, that's...
I mean,
that's pretty much...
Does he realize he can just change his name?
Yeah, that's the logistical question one would ask, but he never thinks to do that. He'd rather just get revenge on the entire world.
Huh.
I mean, that's the mindset of some people. It's not exactly a healthy mindset, but at the same time, it's that's the world we live in. What is she doing on the computer?
Yeah.
She's just reading a blog.
Human woman.
Is Captain Underpants not human? I thought he was at least human-like.
He's at least an alien according to the comic.
But who's to say that the Captain Underpants society evolved from a bunch of humans that launched into
Why is this a
space
hallelujah moment?
because they just found out his real name? Because he never said his full name, but they just basically got the.
Alright, if my last name was that, I would have immediately forced my parents to change it.
Can the parents change the name of their child?
I would assume so.
Yeah.
It's like if the parents get citizenship in a country, most cases the kid gets it too, so pretty sure everything else follows.
Yeah, that's something that I shouldn't say this, but if you move to a country where the native language of that country makes your name sound like something immature or something that's very easy to make jokes out of, might be a good idea to change your name while you're at it. But I'm not like I'm not gonna say anything more on that. That's just how I think.
Hmm.
Uh, this is more of a problem in the Netflix series, but George and Harold always make a bad guy out of somebody that they meet. So if it weren't for them, these plots would not happen. They cause their own problems, which is, I guess, part of the jokes with them. But
You probably should have. Oh. Ooh.
I personally don't think I'd like a hot dog that big.
It could end world hunger, I guess. I don't know.
Well,
I don't
yeah,
know about that. I
you'd have
feel
to.
like the calorie content would be the same.
Hmm.
Otherwise, you're creating matter from nothing.
This is a universe where his eyeglasses match the shape of his eyebrows. I don't think we need to worry about matter from nothing. But at the same time, realistically, yeah, that wouldn't solve world hunger one bit. I mean, no, if we invented, no, wait, no, I don't think that would work either. Huh. Science is so confusing. Hmm. Is there any particular reason she has a British accent? Is it just feeding into the stereotype that British people are really posh?
Yeah, I think that's a stereotype.
Hmm. Do you think people would find it abnormal if there was if there was like an American community of like born Americans who had like American accents and everything, and they were acting really proper and nice and just because like the stereotype of Americans is that we're loud, rude, and annoying. So
I don't know. I feel like people would accept that. Uh, Because I think there's a stereotype that, like, America's where you can get rich. So if there's a bunch of rich Americans with accents, I think people would believe it.
Hmm. They just wouldn't be the celebrities that most people would recognize.
Yeah.
Sigh. There was actually okay. So I've been watching a lot of Philly DeFranco. So one of the stories on today's episode was about how apparently there's been research done that people who watch shows like Keeping Up with the Kardashians actually care less about issues like welfare
Oh yeah.
and other financial things, specifically because the show encouraged that kind of lifestyle versus when people were shown things of like nature and other things like that. Hmm.
And he gets hit by it.
Yep.
Oh.
What is the trope about like the bus came back? Like that's almost literally what happens here. Because Captain Underpants got run over by
Oh,
a car as well, but this time he just got swept away by an ice cream truck. How did they arrange this?
here's a question. Why don't they use the hypno ring on more people?
Because
I don't
their
know.
main problem was Principal Krupp. And with Principal Krupp at their command, they just that's all they need to do. Like they see themselves as friends of the kids. So like they wouldn't use the hypno ring on any of the kids. I don't know why they wouldn't use it on Melvin or Professor, but huh.
Good lord.
I'll admit on rewatch I've skipped this scene because it's just I don't
Ob-
know.
Obnoxious.
Yeah, far like I know they overdo it to the point. Rotten potatoes certified fresh. I know they overdo it to the point where it's supposed to be funny, but it's just I don't know. The funniest fart sounds have ever been to me would be in The Sims 1, where you let your sim pass out from sleep deprivation. Is Ebola even like transmittable through dairy products?
I'm not sure.
Like I
I have
know it
no
is in
idea.
meat and lettuce, but not
I thought it
not
was like
necessarily.
an airborne flu.
I think it can go airborne, but it doesn't really travel that way.
I don't know.
And also a little bit of hypocrisy on the side of Poopy Pants here. He's laughing at those classic bloopers of people getting pies thrown in their face, but he wants to rid the world of laughter even though he still enjoys those types of things. I don't know. Maybe maybe he only gets mad when other people do it because I always assume that they're laughing at him. And that gets brought up later, but speaking of the Kardashians, he takes a dig at people like them. uh,
Jesus.
it's just like the amount of shade this movie throws. It doesn't instead of like getting a mountain of salt and just pushing it at something, they like take little cupfuls of salt and just throw it at random things. Like they mix it up. How long has he been in that locker?
The whole movie.
No, well they showed him trying to enter the locker when they were walking down the hall all disco style, but at the same time he didn't actually go into the locker. He actually left to follow them, I think. But how does he already have that much scrap paper? I feel like that was almost a dig at celebrities that do like those kind of children charities only for the sake of doing them. But I mean, I'm not going to fault them. It's still doing good. It's just, the intentions can be a little gray at times. I should probably get off the note of celebrities and say how much this whole upcoming scene is just
Yeah.
amazing. I don't like cotton candy that much. It's just the texture is as it melts in your mouth.
Yeah.
Cotton candy's always disturbed me since that one scene in the Jimmy Neutron movie
Oh.
Yeah.
where there's the fat kid who says like, "We had a contest to see who could eat all the cotton candy, and I won." And he's like crying. I don't know.
Oh, I remember
Ever
that
since
now.
then, I've never liked it.
Hmm. I mean, I know I'm picky about textures. Like I get kind of wrapped on by Dollar Luigi for not liking pineapple, but it's just I just cannot stand the texture. Just the fact that it's so fibery and hard. It's just
Okay, to be honest, I can't eat that much sugar.
why did that circle look like a hexagon from one angle?
Hmm.
Also, Captain Underpants is apparently intelligent enough to realize when he's in danger, but he hired a psycho as a science teacher. Like, oh, that old Ferris wheel trope. That has to be a trope on TV tropes. Because whenever there's a Ferris wheel in the movie, it's guaranteed to come off the hinge.
Yep. Especially if it's the London Eye. That one always goes.
Also, that's actually based on a real thing, because I remember the London Eye as a monument you can build in city skylines. I don't think I unlocked it, but it was basically a Ferris wheel from the description I got of it. Even after all that, the worst he does is separate them into different classes. Like, you think if he had certification that they caused all of that trouble, that they would be expelled. But
Mm-hmm.
again, this movie doesn't take its logic too seriously.
Like why they don't just snap at him again?
Well, the
He was
reason
in the rain, it wouldn't
he
work.
was all wet because he was in the
Oh.
rain.
Oh.
I guess he could have done it in the hallway, but they were probably too
Yeah.
sad to do it.
They were probably just giving up hope at that point. And again, they're dramatizing the fact that they're in separate classes. Like they come to that realization in the end of the movie that it's not that big of a deal because they can still hang out like after school and stuff. So, like there was a friend I had in high school that we didn't share any classes, but we ate together at lunch. So, hmm. That casserole has been sitting out for a few days. You see, he doesn't care about the world anymore. He just wants revenge. Because that was one of the original things he suggested they use it for, but nope. Revenge. And I like how Melvin is still sucking up to Professor P, even though P is like berating him and stuff.
Because teachers' pets don't understand abuse. Oh.
Except that you can because we're watching a movie. I'm curious why he didn't do that right behind the school.
Oof.
So I'm curious if they had this scene planned and then realized that they were hiring a voice actor for one line, so they made her a bigger part of the movie. I have time to ponder such things because we're right before the big action sequence.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody else notices it until it's right there. Again, this movie doesn't favor logic and over humor.
Teachers are so boring that they can't even notice something that could kill them.
Yeah,
Or just
like, wasn't it shaking the ground?
ah. Somebody's just hungry.
The Dosh Hound as it's chasing the toilet. Okay, so it's confirmed that there's fluid in the bowl of the toilet, but it only spills over at the very end. Despite the fact that the toilet is being, like the bowl is being rocked around all over the place. But it doesn't spill.
Oh no.
uh, uh, I was about to say something, but it would have spoiled the Netflix series. I keep referencing that, but if you like the movie, you'll like the series. Zappity zap zap. I'm sorry, once I found that clip from Ed and Eddie, I just can't help but call anything that looks a bit like lightning as that. So, I'm curious, what in that affects them so that they've all become mindless zombies? Like
Yeah,
I
it's
thought
like a
his only
hive mind.
Yeah, like I thought the only
Huh.
intention was to get rid of the laughter. Is it just kind of like some kind of shock or something? I think cement is probably about 2% more interesting than paint. So, no, he clearly saw them. The searchlight was on them before they ducked. Also, is there really any school where the staff don't have their own bathroom? Like that's something that bugs me a little bit in a lot of media where the faculty still use the student's restroom. There she is again. And apparently it's like 10:02 at night, or maybe it's just really, really overcast. Probably the latter.
Oh, his brain.
So I'm curious. Apparently, the hypnosis changes his brain to be like completely to be Captain Underpants, but he's Principal Crump, and Principal Crump ain't that dumb. So, oh boy, here we go. Harold mentions that it's expensive. Again, that's part of the reason I love the clay scene from the Netflix series so much. I can't tell you how many times I've damaged the Captain Underpants books trying to do the Flipporama. Because I swear, every time I manage to tear the page after a few reads, so. And also, Harold really, really, really cares about his dolphins. Somebody clearly didn't play Echo the Dolphin. No, I just noticed the toilet's face. The faces are really good.
Jesus.
The animation in general is really good. I keep praising it because it's just the epitome of animation, good animation for a comedy movie. Again, I don't expect every movie to be looking like this. For the movie that it's trying to be and the movie that it is, it's amazing.
I wish I had a couch with that design on it. The circuit boards.
Might be able to find. I don't know if you could buy from an e-waste place, but sure it wouldn't be too hard to come across a bunch of like used motherboards and stuff, and then just side them on the side of a wooden bench.
Yeah.
Like I think Linus Tech Tips did a whole wall of motherboards and then painted over them for some reason, but that's pretty cool. He's even got RGB on the thing. Yeah, I think that was his plan from the original book, was that he forced everybody to change their names to be super embarrassing. And I think there was, I don't know where it went, but I had a Captain Underpants Fill It In Yourself book, and they had that activity on it, and it was cool. I think I managed to get one of the less embarrassing names. And apparently apparently Oprah exists in the world of Captain Underpants. Oh, and he actually does have eyes behind those glasses. It's only really visible in that one scene, but he does have little pupils. And also, his hair is cool. Don't diss on his hair. And also, since we didn't make an afro joke back in the kindergarten scene, they made it for us.
Mm-hmm.
He's actually scared of it.
Oh my god.
He's gonna turn it up to 11. Why is it that whenever there's a device like this, there always has to be an 11 that ends up blowing the thing up? Actually, I don't think it blows up as a result of that. Meanwhile, in Animation Style 5003,
Nice.
I think it's a psychic ghost type situation. So, so the purple thing. Apparently, the purple thing also provides children with their free will, according to this scene.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah.
Oh shoot! I just
I guess
realized
I
what
guess that's
doesn't.
why they all become zombies.
There we go. The nightlight came on my computer, so it wasn't purple for me.
Is that your monitor, or do you have software doing that?
That's the monitor.
Hmm. Oh boy. You know those jokes that like they're old as your friendship, but they last an eternity, and it's always a good laugh when you're bringing them up again. I'll say this right now: Sounds of Her Love is not one of them. I love how this is a decision for him. Why did Melvin even program a salsa party into his turbo toilet? Also, I finally reached the conclusion on why toilet paper is used to grief houses in real life. I actually just looked on the side of a package that had like 36 rolls in it, and it said something along the lines of like over 400 feet. I want to say 400 square feet maybe. And I'm just like, well, geez, that's half the square footage of my house. So if that can cover the floor, that can easily do a house. So,
Wait, your house is 800 square feet?
I think it's more. I said half, but I probably meant a third.
Because that's like the square footage of my little apartment.
Yeah, I think it's somewhere. I think it's closer in the range of like 1152 or something.
Okay,
Like it's a small suburban house. It's not. It's not much, but
gotcha. Well, I mean, where you're living, I bet housing's pretty expensive.
Sacramento's not terribly bad. I mean, if you want to talk about terrible housing prices, just look at
Oh
San
no.
Francisco. You know, that's a good question asked by George. Why does he have so much lip balm if he looks like he never uses it?
Uh-oh.
So he gets all muscular, and I was almost worried that he would keep that shape through the rest of the movie, but no, it's only for this one little shot.
Huh.
Yeah, I kind of lied. I forgot that post action sequence are still this. So apparently, since his brain gets completely switched out with when he becomes Captain Underpants, does he still have superpowers as Principal Krupp? Oh yeah, pay attention to his glasses right after this shot. They change shape outright. That's like detail I appreciate. Did you try setting it for Wumbo? Okay, I don't think I've ever eaten Cracker Jacks. Like, those are something I've always heard about but never actually ate. Like, I always assumed they were talking about, oh, what's the brand? Like, when I was a kid, we used to buy these like 20-pack things from Costco where they had like a variety of different types of crackers and fillings. So like they had like a cheesy like Cheez-It type cracker with a cheese filling, and then they
Jeez.
had like a Ritz type cracker with chocolate filling and stuff like that. Like like I don't know what Cracker Jacks are, but I assume they were like those things. Well, as long as they're in his chest, wouldn't he still have the booming voice?
Yeah, how come it only shrunk part of him, but usually I don't. I'm confused.
I don't know. It's not 100% accurate apparently. And then when they show the entirety of him, his head doesn't get any smaller. And they
Whoa,
didn't
why
bother.
would you break that?
Yeah, the bird is still big, and somebody's car was shrunk, and somebody's also the size of their dog's anus. Professor Poopy Pants confirmed for B Movie 2. And the police all scatter.
I want to see that woman on hold in the sideways school.
I didn't even
She's
think of
just hanging from the desk that's somehow sticking to what's now a wall.
that.
Like, how do they fix the school? Because it's sideways, and then they do a scene later where it's back upright.
uh, Excuse me.
Man, I couldn't even hear the movie over the sound of my own chewing. To be fair, I have it really quiet so I can hear you guys. Probably should have thought to turn subtitles on. Which, speaking of
Anyway.
which, ever since my family went from Uverse to DirecTV, I have not been able to find the subtitles button on our universal remote, which is actually useful for when I am watching the one show I go out there to watch, and like Dad has to take a call or something, and then normally I would just mute it and let it continue going with subtitles turned on, but I can't find the subtitles button. It's hidden in a menu. It's hidden in a menu for some reason.
Yeah.
So I have to actually pause what I'm watching instead of just, going on.
At least
Although
you could find the settings. I got a new phone and it took me like a day to find the settings. It was so hidden.
Do you use Apple or Android?
Android.
Hmm.
I don't know. Like, my old phone was Android too, but this one, like, the interface is all different.
Like this smartphone I currently own, like it's a pretty budget phone because like I don't use it for a whole lot. My only grief about it is that the battery doesn't last if I forget to charge it. Speaking of which, I should plug it in. But it's not a bad phone. It does what I asked. It just took me a little while to get used to having a smartphone rather than a
Yeah.
little slide phone.
Yeah. You can get a portable battery for like $15-20.
If I'm getting a portable battery bank, I'm getting it for my Switch. Because that thing's battery life is tragic.
Yeah, it is. My roommate has one of those portable Switch batteries. I haven't gotten one.
I just have to make sure that it, is Type C compliant, which it probably would be. I think.
Well, they
I don't.
make like special batteries just for the Switch. I think his is called Pocket Juice.
Do they now? I thought just any old port.
Yeah.
Okay, no. I figured that any portable battery bank that could output sufficient voltage would work. It's just that knowing Nintendo's little incidents regarding Switches being bricked by third-party docks, I'm not quite trusting that any old battery bank would be good for it. But speaking of which, during the Seattle trip I took a couple months ago, that was when I got the most use out of my Switch thus far. Because there was a lot of downtime at the apartment,
Hmm.
simply because we were doing a lot of exhausting daytime activities. Like, we walked a hell of a lot of places.
Oh no.
So, yeah, when we were back at the apartment, I got a lot of
Seriously?
hours into Breath of the Wild and Odyssey.
A landfill right next to a restaurant?
Mm, I've heard of prisons next to hospitals, so
That's understandable because when a prisoner gets stabbed by another prisoner,
but don't but don't prisons usually have their own like medical unit in them?
I don't know.
Like, I think that's how it works,
I've
but
never been to prison, so
and hopefully you never will be.
oh dear God.
So this is what I was getting on about it, but with regarding sequel baiting, because
Yeah.
breaking the hypno ring didn't cancel the hypnosis, but you'll see what I'm about to mention.
I love how they broke the ring and yet he still has it.
hmm That's specifically calling out to the ending of each and every book. So that's what makes me assume that's just a part of the movie and that it's not necessarily sequel bait.
Yeah, I don't think that has to be sequel bait.
It says the
Like that
first
could
epic
just be
movie.
showing the continuum.
Is there going to be a second epic movie?
I have no idea. I do believe there's going to be a second season of the Netflix series, though.
Oh, Weird Al, I forgot.
Yeah, this song is amazing.
Oh, it's Weird Al.
Yeah.
It actually took me a while to figure that out. Like, the first and second watch, I didn't really think
Connor
about it.
pointed out a lot of stuff in the first watch through, so
It wasn't until I watched that video of Chukka's Hiker Dance Goes With Everything that I actually learned this was done by Weird Al.
Kevin Hart. Who did oh.
Who did what?
Let me see. Oh, there we go. Thomas Middleditch. Ah, that was her name again. Kristen Shaw.
These credits are definitely referencing a lot of what happens in the later books. Although I don't remember the George and Harold robots.
I don't either.
Those are probably after I stopped reading the books. Visual effects supervisor, I have to give credit to you because you did an amazing job with this movie. Also, if you need a binder for sorting your binders, you're probably overworking yourself. But again, I've learned not to make too much of an issue. I don't know what I'm saying. I start to say things and then I realize, oh, somebody's probably going to get mad at me for that. I should probably just learn to not care so much.
Yeah.
Also, this is the part where the students literally turn into zombies, so... Here's
Oh,
the
yeah.
climax of this joke. They like geek out about it. It's hilarious.
Oh no. Watch this.
Nice.
Oh.
And that's where Netflix thinks the movie ends. So,
Well, to be honest, you're not missing much. It's just the cast.
it's just the remainder of the credits.
I'm gonna speed up through it.
I
I'm
closed
just
out
gonna
already.
pause right there. So, how did you think that movie was, Mister? It's probably gonna suck as hard as Emoji Movie.
Nothing could suck that bad.
I like. I mean, I think they were going more for a younger audience, but I think it was pretty enjoyable nonetheless. Professor
Like-
was pretty great.
I completely missed the scene where they had that line about it being completely childish, juvenile, and filled with potty humor, and it
Yeah.
actually being funny. Like, I think that line perfectly summarizes how I feel about this movie. Like it nails what it's trying to do, and it doesn't aim to be something that's not appropriate for it. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's personally one of my favorite movies, so that may just be the the novelty and nostalgia combining to make a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
I also have to agree with you that some of the art styles made it compelling to watch.
Mm-hmm. I found it interesting when they did that.
So with that said, that's been an hour and 30 minutes of a movie podcast. So,
Mm-hmm.
final words aside from that, got any?
Uh,
I'll take that as a no.
well, that was an experience and a half.
I mean, good luck on your new podcast career.
And like and expect more content from this guy.
Yeah. It may be slow coming, but I do have a series in the works. It's taken a long time to edit because unlike this, I did not think to mute myself when I was eating. I think it was trail mix.
Yes, it was trail
So
mix.
I have to go and edit all of that to get all the
God.
freaking chewing out, and that's annoying.
My hand was on my switcher the whole movie. I was just switching it on and off whenever I took a drink or anything.
Yeah, I did that for the most part.
So with all of that said, just say your names and I'll sign us off.
This has been Cheezball.
I'm Desmond, the guy who can't remember his Netflix password.
This is Gameactive signing off, and have a good night.